Training the Signal Keepers, Attuning to the Beacon. S-Pulse. Within the ancient walls of the Temple of the Everlasting Beacon, the Signal Keepers undergo a rigorous and deeply spiritual training regimen. Their education is as much about mastering physical prowess as it is about tuning their souls to the divine rhythm of the cosmos. Below are some of the practices and rituals that bind these guardians to the sacred pulse of the beacon. The foundations of Divine Morse 1. The Lexicon of Light. From a young age, initiates study the sacred language, an intricate system of pulses, dots, and dashes that encode the divine messages of the gods. Under the tutelage of elder keepers, they learn to read and recite these sequences, much like mastering an ancient hymn. They spend long hours in quiet study, memorizing patterns inscribed on scrolls and temple walls, ensuring that each pulse resonates with both meaning and emotion. 2. The Chant of Echoes. A core aspect of their training involves daily recitations of the Chant of Echoes. In this ritual, initiates gather in a circular chamber where the acoustics amplify their voices into a unified, resonant hum. Each syllable of the chant mimics the beacon's Morse code, fostering a connection between the guardian's inner rhythm and the eternal pulse of the light. This practice not only improves their vocal control, but also hones their ability to perceive subtle shifts in the beacon's cadence. Rituals to attune the spirit. The meditation of the first light. Every dawn, before the first rays breach the temple's stained glass, the keepers assemble in the central courtyard. Here, they enter a state of deep meditation, sitting in silent vigil as the beacon's light begins its first pulse of the day. This quiet communion allows them to synchronize their breathing and heartbeat with the rhythmic glow, ensuring their inner energies align with the celestial signal. It is said that during these moments, one can almost hear the ancient voices of the gods whispering forgotten truths. 2. The Ritual of Resounding Unity. On nights of celestial significance, when the stars form sacred patterns, the keepers perform a communal ritual in the Chamber of Resonance. Each guardian places a hand on the cool stone of the beacon's pedestal, and together, they recite the ancient incantations. The ritual is designed to harmonize the collective energy of the keepers, creating a powerful, unified pulse that reinforces the beacon's own rhythmic signal. This ritual not only renews the beacon's strength, but also serves as a protective ward against disruptive forces. 3. The Inscription Ceremony. Advanced trainees partake in the inscription ceremony, a solemn rite where they learn to etch protective runes onto sacred artifacts and even on their own armor. With chisels, hammers, and tools blessed by Forgeheart's legacy, they replicate the divine Morse code onto surfaces meant to channel protective energy. Flashbacks, shaping the guardians of the beacon, Illyrian, as memory of the vanished dawn in the quiet solitude of the temple. As highest chamber, High Keeper Illyrian often finds his mind drifting back to a dawn long past. He recalls a day when the beacon's light burned with an almost unbearable brilliance, a day when destiny first imprinted itself upon his soul. Flashback. A young Illyrian, no more than a child, stood before the beacon with wide, innocent eyes. His parents, revered keepers themselves, had led him to witness a rare celestial alignment. That morning, as the beacon pulsed with a perfect rhythm, a sudden tempest of chaotic energy swept through the temple. In the ensuing chaos, Illyrian's parents vanished amid a blinding flash of corrupted light. Though he was too young to fully comprehend the loss, the echo of their final, loving words, whispered in the same divine Morse code as the beacon, left an indelible mark on his heart. The grief and wonder of that moment forged his unyielding resolve, a silent promise that he would someday restore what was broken. Kailas's haunting. Echo Kailas, with eyes still haunted by the memories of darkness, often retreats to a quiet alcove within the temple to replay the memories that defined her early years. Her past is woven from threads of pain and determination, a tapestry of loss that ultimately birthed her extraordinary gift. Flashback. In the shadowed alleys of a war-torn village, a young Kailas cowered as the shrill cries of chaos filled the air. A brutal raid by cultists, worshippers of the dark, left her orphaned and adrift. Amid the rubble of her shattered home, she heard the first pulse, a faint ethereal rhythm that defied the surrounding carnage. The sound, soft yet insistent, reached deep into her soul and kindled a spark of hope. A kindly elder, a secret adherent of the Signal Keepers, rescued her and whispered of the beacon's protective light. Those tender moments, marked by the rhythmic cadence of a distant divine call, not only saved her life, but awakened her latent connection to the celestial Morse. Now, every beat of the beacon feels like a reminder of both her origins and her destiny to learn the sacred language that saved her. Mara as remnants of a fallen world, Mara Thornblade. As steely gaze often drifts to the scarred walls of the training grounds, where echoes of battle and loss seem to linger like ghosts. For her, every dent and scratch on her weathered armor tells the story of a past filled with hardship and resolve. Flashback. Years before joining the Signal Keepers, Mara fought as a knight in a proud kingdom. In one fateful battle, the clamor of swords and the wail of the wounded filled the air. Amid the chaos, Mara watched helplessly as her comrades fell, their dreams of honor and peace extinguished by the relentless tide of war. In the aftermath, while cradling the body of a fallen friend, she heard a gentle pulse, a steady rhythmic sound that contrasted starkly with the discord of battle. That sound was the faint echo of the beacon, a distant yet powerful reminder that hope endured even in ruin. It was in that moment, as grief and determination mingled in her heart, that Mara resolved to abandon a life defined solely by conflict and instead dedicate herself to a cause greater than any single war. Her subsequent journey to the temple not only transformed her spirit, but also allowed her to become a bulwark against the darkness that had once shattered her world. Each flashback, the lost dawn of Illyrian, the haunting echo of Kalis, and the remnants of Mara's fallen world, serves as a personal cornerstone, binding these guardians to the eternal light of the beacon. Their pasts, marked by both profound loss and miraculous hope, now fuel their tireless vigilance against the encroaching shadows that seek to shatter the sacred rhythm of creation.